Hello everyone, you're watching The Lowellian. My name is Giancarlos Guzman and I'll be your community host for today. We are joined here with Meg Smith to talk about the Poe & Lowell Festival. Thanks so much for taking your time to chat with us.
Well, thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us about the Poe & Lowell Festival?
Sure, I'm Meg Smith. I am the creator and the producer of Poe & Lowell. Poe & Lowell is a festival happening October 19th and 20th. And it celebrates the writer Edgar Allan Poe's 3 visits to Lowell between 1848 and 1849. So we will have events of all different kinds, including spoken word, music, dance, and art exhibits, all celebrating Poe's visits to the city.
Oh, that sounds really cool. For the viewers at home, would you mind telling them about, who Edgar Allan Poe is for those who do not know?
Sure, definitely. So Edgar Allan Poe, who was born in 1808 in Boston and died in 1849 in Baltimore, is one of the preeminent American writers. And although he's mainly known for writing horror and Gothic and mystery, poetry and stories, he also was a very prolific journalist and essayist in his time. So he's probably the most famous for poems that include The Raven, The Bells, and also short stories such as The Black Cat and stories such as The Fall of the House of Usher. Again, stories and poems that inspire the dark imagination.
That sounds really amazing. What inspired, could you tell us what inspired you to begin organizing this festival?
Definitely. So I actually had the first Edgar Allan Poe show that I produced here in Lowell in October 1995. And it was around that time that I was learning about Poe and the fact that he came and visited the city. And that to me was really amazing and exciting. I was also involved with the Lowell Celebrates Kerouac Festival, honoring Jack Kerouac, who of course was born here. And over the years, I would have periodically a single night event that was dedicated to Edgar Allan Poe with readings of his poems and dance pieces that were inspired by Poe's works. And I decided that what I really wanted to do, because Poe's presence here in the city was so special, and also because Lowell to me is a tremendously inspiring and mysterious city that's magical in its own right, I think the time has come to have a full 2-day festival celebrating Poe's presence and his lingering spirit in Lowell.
Would you mind breaking down the festival and the different events that will be taking place?
Sure thing. So I want to mention that concurrent with the festival itself, we have 2 art exhibits, one of which is taking place here at the LTC in the gallery. And that is called Echoes of Poe, and it's an exhibit of Lowell High School poetry and art by the students. So please come down and check it out, everybody. There'll be a reception on October 18th, 1 to 3 p.m. here. Also, there will be an exhibit called A Dream Within a Dream at Gallery Z, which is across the street, and that will be going on concurrent to the festival as well. So the festival itself, we're going to have what I'm calling the Poe Pop-Up Shop, which will be authors and creators of very goth-inspired gifts, and that will be here as well. That's happening 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., October 19th. After that, LTC Zone Wednesday Clevisha is going to have a horror writing workshop 3 to 5 p.m. October 19th. That's at the Worthen, which you might know is kind of a famous historical tavern here that's kind of folklorically associated with Poe. So what better place to have a horror writing workshop, and who better to have it with? So that night, we're going to travel back to Gallery Z for the Dream Within a Dream Saturday evening soiree. We'll have live music by Amy Beauregard. She's a well-known musician here, very talented. We will have a chance to meet the artists who are part of the exhibit. We're going to have a goth pageant, which will feature the famous cosplayer Blood Witch. She'll be there to co-host the goth pageant, which will have a number of folks come up and show off their gothic attire. And we'll have some prizes for them and some gifts. And we're going to be having a really exciting raffle that will include Some beautiful work by many of the creative spirits here in Lowell. And get your sleepers, much sleep as you can, because the next day on October 20th, we're going to head over to Lowell Books, an amazing indie bookstore here in Lowell. And at 11 a.m., we are going to have the Edgar Allan Poe short story brunch, where there'll be several writers and spoken word artists and storytellers who will be reading from 2 of Poe's short stories. Plus, there will be snacks, y'all. So short stories and snacks, I think, is a great combination.
It sounds like one.
Absolutely. And then we're going to head over to the Luna Theater in Mill Number 5 for 2 showings of Roger Corman's film, The Raven. The stars Vincent Price. It's loosely based on the poem The Raven. Roger Corman, who passed away recently, directed several films that were inspired by Poe. So there'll be showings at 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. The 2 p.m. show is going to be hosted by none other than Penny Dreadful. She is an acclaimed horror TV hostess, and she also hosts a podcast on the serial Dark Shadows. So she is very entertaining and very informative. So she's going to be there. You don't want to miss that. She'll be at the 2 p.m. show. And then at 7:30 p.m., our final stop is going to be at Olympia Zorba Music Hall for the Edgar Allan Poe show. And I am really excited, you guys, about this. We are going to have live music by Todd Brunel. Wow. We will have readings of some of Poe's famous and somewhat lesser known poems by several local poets and storytellers. And then we will have a series of dance performances. These are original dance performances that some of the great dancers in our area have created, inspired by short stories and poems by Poe, but set to different kinds of contemporary music, such as Queen, among others. So it's going to be really exciting, and there's going to be a raffle there too. And I think that will hopefully carry us all into the wonderful Halloween season. And again, you can stop by to see the 2 exhibits that I mentioned anytime during their exhibit run.
Wow, there's a lot involved in this festival. Like you really packed this, and there's a ton of people involved too. Could you go into detail on what are the challenges that you have faced putting this festival together, and any advice that you have for anybody who'd want to put up their own festival?
Sure. First of all, that's a great question. And because any event of this magnitude, as I'm sure a lot of folks in Lowell could say, because we have so many great festivals and events in Lowell, there definitely are challenges. And I would say the best thing to do is, first of all, start early. I actually started the kernel of this idea for the festival about 2 years ago. And along the way began to check things out, do some research, get a sense of how sustainable I thought the festival might be. Other challenges just include lining up the events in a way that makes some sense logically, that allows, say, people time to get from one place to another. And also maybe a little bit of breathing time in case they need to go, say, and get a cup of coffee, or they want to browse the local stores, things like that. And also, the other challenge is just something I think we're all familiar with, is just having balance in your life. I have a full-time profession, totally separate from this, and I volunteer in a lot of other endeavors in Lowell, including the Lowell Celebrates Kerouac Festival. And by the way, a shout out to them because they're our partner, they're amazing. And that festival is taking place October 10th to 14th this year. And so I would say planning, setting up something that's sustainable and realistic, reaching out to the community for support. You don't have to do everything all on your own. And identify people whose talents you think will lend themselves well to certain events or certain tasks that they'll be excited about and that they would enjoy being a part of. And just always have the faith above all else in your vision for the event that you're doing and how you want it to take shape, and have faith in yourself above all.
Yeah, that sounds like really great advice. What do you hope people will get out of the festival, once they go and when they leave? What do you want them to take away from it?
Well, first of all, I want them to have a fantastic time. October, as we know, is an amazing time in New England, and it's an amazing time in Lowell. Jack Kerouac himself said, you always go home in October. Poe himself kind of left this world in October, but leaving much of his spirit with us. I hope that they will come and have a great time, that they will enjoy all the events. They will learn something about Lowell as a city full of amazing history and amazing cultures, and that it also is a chance for different parts of the community and different organizations within the community. We have art galleries, we have nightclubs, the school district. We have our partners at Lowell Celebrates Kerouac, of course, and our supporters, including Mosaic Lowell. So all of these different groups and volunteers and organizations coming together. And to me, I think really what will exemplify the spirit of this festival is just the coming together of Lowell as a community.
I really like that. Do you plan on this festival being a recurring, event? And if so, is there anything new that you like to see in future iterations?
Sure. I think my dream is to be able to have the festival as a recurring event. I think one thing this year's festival will show all of us in a way that can only be done by actually holding the festival is what is it going to require to make the festival sustainable and enduring. I think we have many events that happen annually or even every other year in Lowell. So I do think that Poe and Lowell has a great future here. And I look forward both to making that happen and seeing how it unfolds.
Can you tell us, just repeat once again, where and when the festival is taking place?
Sure. So the festival is taking place Saturday and Sunday, October 19th and 20th. And it is taking place at several venues that are mostly clustered right here in downtown. And we do have a schedule online. If you look at our linktr.ee /Poe and Lowell, you'll find the complete schedule of the festival, as well as our Instagram and Facebook, which are Poe in Lowell.
And through the Instagram and Facebook, that's where our viewers at home can keep up with the Poe and Lowell Festival?
Absolutely. And again, the schedule and our social media, they are all the branches, if you will, of our link tree of Poe and Lowell. So you can find us there.
All right. That's nice to know. Is there anything else that you like, the viewers at home to know about the festival or anything else in general?
Sure. What I would like to say is that I made Lowell my home some time ago. I came back to this area for school, and it wasn't too long before I realized that Lowell was really where I wanted to live and where I was meant to be. And I'm so glad that I made that decision. And finding out along the way things like getting to know about Jack Kerouac, one of our native sons, maybe our most famous native son, and then finding out that Edgar Allan Poe actually visited the city and all of these wonderful magical things. I hope that people who are either live in Lowell or coming to visit Lowell for the festival will see and find those things as well. And like Poe, bring some of the magical spirit and leave that here with us.
That's very nice. Before we wrap up, I have one more question for you.
Sure.
What are your 3 favorite Edgar Allan Poe pieces?
Wowee. So yeah, it would be hard to finish up a discussion about Poe without talking about that, for sure. I think that I enjoy some of his sort of more personal poems, such as Annabel Lee. I am a widow, so the poem Annabel Lee definitely speaks to me. We think it was inspired by the loss of his wife. He was widowed as well. I also love The Bells because I think it's a challenging poem. It just really begs to be read aloud, almost like sung aloud, like a song. And I think in terms of his short stories, there are so many wonderful stories, but I would suggest anyone who hasn't read Hop Frog, which has actually quite a bit of humanity in it. And as we've been talking about, Poe is known for his kind of scary or mysterious stories and poems, but I think you'll also find a lot of love and a lot of hope in those works as well.
Thanks for sharing that, and thank you for taking your time out of your day to chat with us. Once again, my name is Giancarlos Jaime Guzman. This is Meg Smith for LTC's The Lowellian. Thanks for watching.